Hey Riga, my name is Muhammed. I'm coming from Saudi Arabia and I'm here to talk to you about why I am into car. So basically when I was a child, like we used to play PlayStation, right? So Need for Speed was one of the topest games at that time. I was not into cars before, but playing this game like slowly, like the car thing, the sound, the thing like everything that cars give, like the passion that slowly gave into my blood. So whenever we go out and like to see to the malls or stuff like that, me and my brothers used to look at like, instead of looking at the malls like stores and stuff, we go to the parking lot, like search like different cars, like see if there's interesting or something like that. So that was my early childhood to the car culture. And growing up, like as you have seen the YouTubes and stuff in Saudi, there's like all you can see when you search in YouTube is like Arab drifting, like the four-wheel drive, like Land Cruisers, everything going in two wheels, stuff like that, right? So that was basically our car culture. So we used to count cars in the parking lot, like see if there's an interesting cars. If we see anything out of ordinary normal car, out of any other normal cars with something like special wheels on, we would just like gaze at it, like go deep into it, maybe like, you know, just dreamy about cars. And like when we grow up, what we saw in the streets are like, as you can see on YouTube, like there are people who are drifting, front wheel drive cars are drifting, they are drifting the front wheel drive cars. And like that too is like what you say, like that sparks our brains, our heart. Whenever like if you talk to any car guys, if they can like spot a car coming from a mile away, like with just an exhaust, like it says, we'll like, what's happening? Like that kind of mood. So when we are kids, whenever we hear cars and stuff, we always like do that stuff. And like talking about car cultures in Saudi Arabia, we have like two different sectors. For mainly the one is like, which I'm more into, is the street part, which is like mainly on weekends. What we have is like, we don't have like, have you heard about it? Like we don't have clubs, we don't have like any else other entertainment, no movies and stuff. So only entertainment we had was like empty roads and our cars. So me and my friends used to go out in desert, like we would like drift front wheel drive cars, also like, you know, like make the top speed run, like the drag races and stuff. So that's what you see on YouTube. Like that's why like Arabs are crazy about doing the front wheel drive cars. The cars we have are basically normal cars like Toyota Camrys, Toyota Corolla, Honda Accords, some Honda Civics. Basically like all the Japanese cars are the most affordable cars we could like get our hands into when we were teenagers. I even had a road crash once in my life, which like basically like was end of my drifting career, whatever you want to say about it. So like so that was one culture we grew up into. That's what like most of you have seen like on internet and stuff. And the other part is like we only see this in the higher city areas, which is like most of the times when we get bored, our entertainment is to go to city area during weekends. And what we see is that the more higher classes will be bringing the cool toys such as Lamborghinis, Ferraris, most of the super bikes, flybys and stuff like that. So we, with our normal Corolla and Camry, staying there and watching this rich kids, we can call them rich kids, like bring them Lamborghinis and Ferraris, like, you know, doing the flybys. We used to dream about this stuff. So basically in Saudi Arabia, we don't have any entertainment like you guys have here. Like we don't have clubs, we don't have like movies. The alcohols are restricted for obvious religious reason. So our country is basically an orthodox country, which is run. It's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a good thing, but still like growing up as a teenager boy or like any boy, like any age, without any other sort of entertainment, what we have was like empty roads which are very long, and we had our cars. So that's how the car culture in Saudi Arabia like gave birth to itself. Even though our cars are Honda Accords and like small cars, with the speed limit of 140, like limited speed, like actual government speed limit is 120, 140, that range. So we could like max out on our cars. It doesn't matter like which car you're driving. We could have like had fun with the cars. Plus we have like a lot of empty desert, so we'll take our most of the off-road like SUVs and some like our own cars, like which I told you about, like the Hondas and like the Toyotas. We would take them outside. We would go like, instead of like you see here people drifting in the snow, we were like drifting in the sand instead. That's the only difference that like I can talk to you about. Like it's the same feeling, like we call like the winter drifter, we have like the desert drifting. Like it's the same culture, but like it's connected. Every car culture is connected with the passion of like what the car gives the driver, the joy. Drifting is dangerous and stuff, but like I told you, it's the only thing we have. So even myself, I have like been in an accident during like the drifting thing. I've lost like 2 friends, which is like had like put a full stop to my drifting life and everything. Not drifting life, like what we had fun for. So after that, everything slowed down for a bit, and like even now, right now, the government is like put a fine, like 300,000 is the Saudi Riyal is the fine for if you get caught for drifting in the street. Also, they are like putting drifting to legal, which are they're building like, as you can see, like there was an Oman drift competition like previous month, I guess. Anyway, like the street culture is what like the Saudi is known for. We have another culture which is the exotic part, which you can see in Dubai and other part of Middle East. That does exist in Saudi Arabia, but like most of the people are not interested in, because like it's only the weekend hype thing. Like for people outside, it's like you can see all the cool cars which are like rarest of the rarest in the world. Maybe if there's a Bugatti or something that's only 16 in the world, we'll have at least like 2 or 3 out of them in Saudi Arabia. So it's cool to watch and stuff, but that is not what we define as a car culture in Saudi Arabia. So our, like I told you, it's like drifting and like you have seen like the SUVs on 2 wheels and stuff. And the other part is like we have one thing that's not famous on YouTube is called hill climb competitions. So normally like what we do is like we take our SUVs or any car, we go to a like random part in the desert where there's no cops or like no residential areas nearby, so we can, you know, like literally rip the F out of the cars. Is it okay if I say F word? So literally like rip the F out of the cars. I think it's a hidden part of the Saudi culture, like having life in the desert and stuff, but that is something that no one have experienced, I think, outside of the Saudi Arabia. So as I found out there's like car culture going on in Riga, I like wanted to be a part of it. Other than the being like the one who takes the photos, I want to be the part of the event. So we, like me and my friends, scouted out for like cars to buy to be a project. So like some like as a group of friends, like different people have different taste in cars, and even though like we are not like native of this country, but we want to be a part. So we found out like a E30, which was like not a good condition when we found it. It's okay, it's right, it's a riding condition, but we took it in, like we bought it. Now it's a project car for upcoming CC Nation event. As a car guy, like whenever I see a potential switch box which has like, you know, has something value to it, like I don't care like how much money I have, I'll buy it. That's how I came up with this thing. It's a 1994 Celica. I also have a IS 200, the Lexus, which we call the Altiza. I don't know what we call it. Yeah. And like we are planning something for the CC Nation. Let's hope it works out. and we can see when we are building the car for the CC Nation, we find difficult to work on the cars here. It's not like, for you it might be easy, but for us it's like the language is a barrier. The location we are, like we don't have a garage, like we basically live in apartments which doesn't have like a storeroom where we can put our stools, like put our cars like for a long time. We can like run out, but still it's like it's kind of complicated for us. So that's why we took like professional help instead. But still, even though it doesn't give you the the connection for the car we have, but still it's like it's building a car. It's like making a car of your own. I came to Riga for study purposes. So when I came here, I didn't knew that Riga had a car culture of its own. I was like, one night I was going to shopping in Acropole, and like it was like a scene to watch. So I was in the Costa Road going to Acropole, and I'm seeing this old Mercedes, like a line of Mercedes going to Acropole. I'm like, is this a gang or like some sort of thing? Like so many thoughts are going to my brain. Like I didn't know like Riga had a car culture. So as soon as the bridge is ending, I'm going to Acropole. I'm seeing the entire car parking is full of cars. Not just cars, like cars of different, like there's like old Mercs, E30s, like a lot of BMWs, like the people everywhere. I'm like, what is happening here? I was just like, I was out of mind. Like I forgot about shopping and stuff. I parked my car. I had my camera with me. I took my camera and just like started shooting. Took a lot of photos. I didn't know like this was a, like a car meet or anything, like organized or anything, or just like people came together all of a sudden. So I was taking pictures and stuff. Like I took a lot of pictures. I started posting it in Instagram. As you know how Instagram works, one of the organizers saw my post and reposted it on the official CC Nation page. And I knew, so from that point onwards, I knew there's a car culture in Riga, and I started following like every step of the way they put up, like the previous posters, the coming up in events, like pre-party, after party, every time. Like if I see anything related to CC Nation, I would just like, go at it. Like pre-party event in the Muksala Sila, and that's the day that I met the organizers like face to face. And as you know, like when car people meet each other, it doesn't matter where you're coming from, which country, or like how you're born. Like if you love cars, that's the only thing you need to connect people. You understand? So as like when we are talking to each other with the organizers, like he understood like that thing, like it's hard to explain, like the spark, people with love for the car, the passion for the car, just understand without words. That's how communication, starts.